Hello everybody and welcome to our Fleurs education, and this is our lovely forest foliage, and this is from our Eternal Blooms collection, I believe. Eternal Blossom. Why can't I get that? I call it blooms every time. Hello everybody and welcome to our Fleurs education. This is for our forest foliage, forest foliage. Take 3. Hello everybody and welcome to our Fleurs education. Now this is for the die set of our forest foliage, and it is from our Eternal Blossom collection. Okay, so that's where you can find this. If you pop over onto our highlight website, that's where you're going to find all the details and you'll be able to get that. So it's super easy to use. Now on here I have a board. Now this is how many dies you're actually going to get within this. Okay, so there's a lot of leaves going on there. Now that's because we want to build an actual whole branch. Okay, so it builds really quite a substantial piece of foliage. So it's entirely up to you how many pieces you cut and how you build on your branches, but it looks phenomenal. And also swap out the colourway. So for this one I'm using our fabulous crepe paper, and I've already gone ahead and cut out lots of pieces, but what I'm going to do is just lay some of these elements out because you can see the size variations. Okay, so we've got some quite big ones, and then we get a little bit smaller, and then a little bit smaller, and then we get right down to these lovely little new shoots. So I'm just going to lay these out, and what I try and do is make sure that I've got the proportion of my leaf correct, because when you've got a leaf or you've got a branch, you always have new shoots near the tip, so they're the younger, more smaller ones, and then all the other ones get a little bit darker or a little bit bigger. Okay, so initially what I've done is I've used one whole wire and I've popped 2 small of the small leaves on the end. Now what I've done is I've sandwiched that wire in between these two, and it goes from the tip to here. Okay, so there's 2 back to back there, and I like to do that because it makes it a little bit more substantial, and also it looks quite nice. It's nicely finished on where the actual young shoot would actually be coming from. So on the other ones I just use my wet glue, and I've cut some wires already, because you don't need to use all of your wires and use each leaf with one of these. You only actually need a piece of wire like so, and I'm going to push that in so I get that, and because they're paper wrapped wires, they stick to the crepe paper beautifully. Now if you want to, you can actually go ahead and double all of these. Okay, so that one would then sit and sandwich, inside there. So you would cut 2 layers. So I would cut these, fold your crepe paper in half, cut 2 layers. And as you've seen me do before, the crepe paper is vertical and my die is vertical again also. Okay, but that's if you wanted to actually go ahead and do that. You don't have to do that. You can just pop your wire on, and because there's going to be so many of these creating a branch, I think this is where one of the ways you could get away with just putting wire on one side of your leaf. Now when I'm building this and I actually put it together, I like to lay it out. Okay, so I'll put my stem down first. So all I'm doing is using wet glue down the middle of the leaf and pushing that actual stem wire into the glue, and all of the glue is going to dry nice and clear. So again, I'll get another couple of wires, and then I'll show you what I mean, that how I lay these out. And I like to use odd numbers. Okay, so if I'm building one of the actual branches or one of these stems, I don't like to always have I like odd numbers. So that would be my first one. And then I would think about doing the odd number. So I've got 1, 2, I need another one of these. So I'm just going to slide some of these to one side. I've always got the option to actually go in and grab a couple more if I want extras on here. So again, they're really easy to build. So it's just wet glue. And then you push that wire into that wet glue to make sure you've got a good seal against the paper wire that is actually for the actual stem. Gosh, you need a strong bond between those two pieces. Then I'm going to get a little bit of ink, and where I've got the edges, I'm just going to add just a little bit of ink, but I'm going to ink both sides on these first ones. So if there is any movement and you do bend these and manipulate these, you don't want to actually show that you've got a different colour. And you do it on both sides, even where it's only one wire, whether you've doubled it up or just used one wire. Ink on both sides, like so. And again, it makes it look really professional, as if you've actually got, your silk bought flowers from the shops, etc. Some of these are still a little bit damp, so I'm just going to be careful because I have got still using wet glue. So I would take your time with these, probably know how many branches you're actually going to build, and build all of those and give them the time to dry before you actually start preparing them. Now, I'm going to lay this out. So that's my actual branch. I've got the 2 of the smaller ones that I chose. So I'm going to use my tweezers so I can bring these in, okay? I'm going to lay them on there because I know round about where I want these, like so. Then I have this one. Okay, so we've started small, we're going to medium. And then I lay this one on here. So I actually lay out the branch to look at what I want, and I know my spacing. So the next thing to do is I need to add some of my floristry tape, and I start wrapping on the wire like so. Okay, and I'm just going to leave that length on there because these, again, making it nice and professional. And it also helps when you do this to wrap all of your wires, because it just makes it look really good and it adds that extra finished professional detail that you would find in others. And this is a lovely leaf, not only to create the branch that we're going to create with it, but also as added foliage for any of your collections, even your die sets where you do your card making. So this is then going to look lovely on your 2 red robins, etc. So it doesn't really matter what you're making with this. It's a lovely shaped leaf for practically everything that you're going to be wanting to make. Okay. So that is that on there. And then with the length that I've already got on here, so I know I went a little bit too far there. So you can unroll it if it gets a little bit too far, like so. So now I know I'm going to look at what I've already got. So I want my smaller ones again. So this is my first one. I'm going to sit this against the wire where I've started wrapping. And I'm going to just encase that wire in like so. And I'm going to come a little bit down away from that one. And then I'm going to go with the next size. Okay. And again, making sure I've got it the right way around. That is going to lay against the wire. And then I'm going to wrap that one into the whole long stem, like so. And then I'm stopping again and taking the next size. And when I stop, I actually go right to the base of the wire of the leaf and wrap again. I'm not going to go as far this time. Add in the next one, okay, and it's to the base, okay, again, and wrap again. But this one we've got a little bit more gap because remember these are the older shoots, this is further down. So this is my final leaf on this one. And again, I place it to the base where the wire is and then finish this one off like so. Okay. And then the rest of this wire, I wouldn't use all of that wire. So the bit that I've not used, I snip off, and that's for a leaf. Now with what I've actually got here, I can now start manipulating these. So I'll put that out that side, and this side, and then that one, and these two. Can you see how you can get this to actually look really, really effective? So now, because we've wired them and we've wired the whole leaf, we're now going to add shape into these, manipulate these as if it's a piece of forest floor foliage or whatever that may be. Just open that up, and again just open it up just a little bit just to add that extra shape. And then that is our fabulous, I'm just going to finish that off, that is our fabulous foliage that again now, because it's wired, we can curve it round, bend it down, so we can really make these look how we want in our project. So we can manipulate these, so this could be hanging from the front of a vase, it could be part of a bouquet. But this particular foliage is going to be one of the ones that you'll go to time and time again. So that is how we build our lovely forest foliage. So I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you all again soon. Don't forget, show me all your makes and pop them over on Highlight Crafts, our Facebook page, and the rest of the demonstrations are following on soon. Bye!
If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button, subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of all of our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.